He makes a wonderful old lady, not a doubt about it. A bit singular to look at, perhaps, but then look at some of your old ladies. Nobody would believe them possible, and you don't seem a bit worse to look at than 2 or 3 others I could mention holding very high positions too. Both the old gents have got their eye on her. Lord, if they only knew. I fancy Sir Francis's favourite, although old Spettigue fancies himself. Well, college gents will do anything.
What are you laughing at, eh?
Oh, beg pardon, sir. I was just thinking of an old aunt of mine.
Eh?
Uncle, I mean.
Mind your own business and go and get tea. Do you see? Tea?
Tea, sir? Yes, sir.
Out here.
Out here, sir?
Yes. And don't stare like that. It's all right. I've got special permission.
I beg pardon, sir.
And now for Kitty. Where is she? Everything's going on all right at last. Babbs frightened the life out of me 2 or 3 times at lunch, the way he walked into things, as if he hadn't had food for a month. But we've gotten a little worse. All the same, I haven't been able to have my chat yet with Kitty. But now they're all nicely settled down in the garden. I've given her a hint to meet me here, where we can talk quietly. Oh, here she is. Hint! To a particular appointment here with Kitty, so book it.
And so have I, Jack.
With Kitty?
No, with Amy.
Then we both made appointments in the same place. Confound it all, what are we to do?
Well, they are your rooms.
Yes, but you're my guest. Yeah, come on, we'll talk for it. You got any money?
A halfpenny, that's all.
Sudden death. Heads, you and Amy. Tails, me and... Oh, here she is.
But Jack, that's all the money I've got.
Ah, there you are, Mr. Chesney.
Yes, I'm here. In fact, waiting. I was beginning to fear you wouldn't come. Why didn't you go? Have you no tact?
Jack, what about me and Amy?
Ah, there you are, Mr. Wykeham.
Well, I was coming, I was waiting. Yeah.
Be awkward. Oh, I say, Charley. Have you shown Miss Spettigue all around the garden?
Yes, Jack. In fact, 2 or 3 times. And we've just come from there. I wish you'd been with us.
Lovely garden, isn't it?
Yes, I suppose it is.
Suppose. Oh, you haven't half seen it. Charley, Miss Spettigue hasn't half seen the garden. Take her and show her the roses and primroses and cabbages and things.
But Jack...
And Charley, tell Miss Spettigue those beautiful lines of yours. To our garden in summer.
Oh, Jack, don't tell her I write poetry. She'll think I'm an awful ass.
Now don't forget, Miss Spettigue. See you here in half an hour.
Very well, Mr. Chesney.
But Jack, the others are in the garden, and it worries the life out of me to see Babbs like that.
Well, don't! It's a large garden. Keep out of his way. At last, Miss Verdun. My dear Kitty, we are alone.
Don't you think it was rather selfish of us, Mr. Chesney, to send them away like that?
Well, we tossed for it.
What?
What I mean is that they'll be much happier together alone, and it seems as if I couldn't get 5 minutes alone with you, say, from some miserable interruption. Indeed, I was beginning to fear you'd think me very rude neglecting you as I have done.
Oh, no, not at all. I quite understand. I couldn't expect you to devote yourself entirely to me. Indeed, we've had a very pleasant time, and now...
Yes, and now?
I was thinking we ought to be going now.
Good. Now? Oh, good gracious, no.
Why not?
Oh, before I've had a word with you. Oh, Miss Verdun. Kitty, won't you sit down? I have something to say to you of importance.
Indeed, Mr. Chesney.
You see, Miss Verdun, there are times when a fellow's got to think a lot, and think long.
I suppose.
And there are times when a fellow mustn't stop to think, or if he does, he'll spoil his chance.
Yes?
So, Miss Verdun, Kitty, my dear Kitty.
I beg pardon? No, don't mind me. I only wanted a word with my boy here.
Oh, well then I'll run into the garden and see the roses and primroses and cabbages and things.
Well, Dad, anything important?
Oh, yes, Jack, it is.
Oh, what is it?
You know, Jack, I'd do anything to see you get on in the world, to make your mark, if you get your chance.
You needn't tell me all this, Dad.
So, having thought it over, I've decided that you shall continue with your career that I originally mapped out for you. And having given it some serious thought, I've determined to heed your advice, my boy, and marry a lady of wealth.
Oh, I see. You've fallen a victim to the fascinations of some young and lovely.
No, Jack, she's not lovely, and she's not over young. But she has one thing in her favour, she has money, which after all is the main object in this instance.
Oh, very well then, Dad. As long as you are satisfied, go in and win.
And I have you to thank, my boy, for the tip.
Thank me for the tip. I don't remember, Dad. Who is she? What's her name?
You'll be delighted when I tell you.
Yes, well...
Can't you guess?
No, Dad, I can't.
Donna Lucia Dalvadores.
What? Oh, deuce! Oh, but Dad, circumstances have altered since then.
In what way?
Oh, you know, Dad, you're too good. You're not the man to be thrown away like this.
Say no more, my boy. Your consideration for me settles it. It'll put you forward years. Had she been young and lovely, she wouldn't have looked at me. As it is, I flatter myself she's taken rather a fancy to me. And as for old Spettigue, despite his marked attentions, I don't believe he has the ghost of a chance with me.
Spettigue? Tensions? Oh, good heavens, what are we doing? Dad!
So, wish me luck, my boy, wish me luck.
Take time, Dad. Think it over.
Think it over? Why, Jack? You yourself suggested it. That's not the way an old soldier makes love, after all. I'm going to your room to get myself a rattling good spanking brandy and soda to bring me up to the mark.
What's the young monkey up to?
Jack, I wish you'd speak to Babbs. He's carrying on awfully disgracefully. He's taken Amy away from me and gone around the garden with her.
Oh, that's nothing as to what's going on here. Hear that?
Yes, what is it?
My dad giving himself a rattling good spanking brandy and soda.
A brandy and soda? What for?
What, to propose to Babbs, that's all.
Oh, I knew something horrible would come of this. We'll be found out and disgraced. How could you let it go on?
Don't blame me. It was the fault of your muddle-headed aunt not knowing her own mind and leaving us in the lurch. Oh, I could strangle her.
What shall we do?
We must find Babbs and put him up to the governor's game.
Find Babbs, but Jack...
Oh, come on. We must go around the garden different ways until we've found him.
But Jack, can't you end this horrible...
Shut up. Oh, we must keep our heads or we'll ruin everything. Come on.
Now I'm ready for anybody and anything. Why doesn't she come? I told the boy that she made a promise. Well, time's up, time's up. 10 minutes ago, but time's up. Ah, dear Don. That old fool Spettigue, and with my flower in his coat. Are you looking for somebody?
No.
What's he hanging about here for? Are you in want of anything?
No, I was only thinking it's a very lovely afternoon. Perhaps you haven't seen the garden yet. You ought to give it a good look before you go.
I will, before I go. What's he hanging about here for? Have a cigarette.
No, thank you. I don't smoke during the day. Why does he remain? She said she'd meet me here in 10 minutes. Time's up. Time's up.
What's he hanging out here for? What's he stopping for? I must tell him to go.
Wish I could think of something to get rid of him.
Well, as you're not smoking,
Oh, don't mind me, don't mind me.
I was just thinking perhaps it's as well we rejoin the ladies in the garden. They might think it rude, both of us being away.
Perhaps so, perhaps so. She's gone into the garden.
Well, she doesn't seem to be coming. I think I'll go and have another.
Oh, I say, Dad, you haven't seen Donna Lucia, have you?
No, Jack, I haven't.
Oh, that's fortunate.
I'm waiting for her here.
Waiting for her, yeah?
Yes, we have an appointment. So, she's actually due. In fact, she's overdue. So, get out, my boy, get out.
Oh, they mustn't meet until I've seen him. Come to think of it, Dad, I saw her only a moment ago.
Oh, where?
In the garden.
In the garden? Hang it, I've just sent old Spettigue there.
I know Babbs isn't there, but where on earth has he got to? Well, have you found him?
No, haven't you?
No. And I've looked all over the place for him.
So have I, and the worst of it is he's got Amy with him. It's such a shame.
I'll kill the little monkey when I get hold of him.
Where are they? What's he doing with her? He better behave himself. Oh, look at him, isn't it bad?
Mr. Wickham, there you are. Did you think you lost us?
Yes, I'm afraid I did.
Where have you been with that girl, you fool?
Nowhere.
Oh, stop where you are. I've something to tell you.
Oh, have you?
Charley, has Miss Spettigue seen the chapel? Take her away while I tell him. You must see the chapel. It's an awfully pretty chapel.
Jack, tell him I'll punch his head, and if he does that again...
What do you mean by this game, you fool?
What game?
You promised to help us.
I'm doing my best.
Your best. Your business was to look after those two old chaps, and now you are. Oh, but I don't wish to argue.
Oh, no, I shouldn't argue if I were you.
Listen, I want to put you on your guard.
Oh my God, thank you.
Yes. My dad's going to propose to you.
Is he? Well, that's all right. Well, I'm not going to marry him for you or anyone else. I'll see you hanged first.
Of course not, you idiots. All you've got to do is be calm and refuse him.
Come and refuse him. Yeah, but a proposal puts anyone in a flutter, you know that.
All you've got to do is remember that you're a real old lady.
And how am I supposed to remember that I'm a real old lady with my trousers on?
Mind the trousers! Oh, look out! Here's a dad. I'm off.
Oh no, but what am I to say? I've never been proposed to before.
Say he's taken you by surprise. But whatever you do, mind you, refuse him.
Oh, yes, I'll refuse him.
Really, it's too bad. She made the proposition herself. It was a definite proposition of her own. Well, ladies are proverbially unpunctual, but... Ah, dear Donna Lucia, here you are. I was beginning to be afraid and popped into the garden to find you. It's so good of you to come. Won't you sit down? By Jove, got her at last. Now for the plunge. I'll begin with a compliment. I wonder what's her real age. However, a lady's never too old for a compliment, so here goes. Donna Lucia, you'll pardon the rude metaphor of an old campaigner, I'm sure. But meeting you here today, as I have done for the first time, is to me like a lonely traveller coming across a bright little floweret by the wayside.
Do you mean me?
Yes, Donna Lucia, yes. By George, that's a good start.
What am I to say to that, I wonder? Oh, yes, I think that's very nice and very kind of you.
By George, she looks anything between 50 and 100. Well, I've put myself up to it, so I must come to the point. Donna Lucia, do you know what a man longs for when he's lonely, desolate, and wretched?
A drink?
What a woman doesn't help one a bit. No, Donna Lucia. This is what he longs for. He longs to plant in his own heart that bright little floweret.
Oh, yes, by the wayside, that one. I remember. Does he really?
Yes, Donna Lucia, and I have come all the way from India to find it.
Oh, you must be tired. Take a chair.
Thank you. It's a long way, Donna Lucia,
Quite a long walk.
but I have found it.
Well, then why don't you wear it in your buttonhole?
Ah, will you let me, or will it be given away to another like you did before?
Yes, I remember. I was a naughty girl this morning.
But, dear Lucia,
Oh, he's getting on.
the floweret, I mean, must sit at the head of my table, walk by my side, and dwell in my heart forever.
He's going to show me a conjuring trick.
So I'll waste no more words and come to the point with the soldier's bluntness. Will you be my wife? Will you be my bright little floweret?
Well, you see, you've taken me so much by surprise.
Then I may hope.
No, don't hope. I wouldn't hope if I were you.
Beg pardon, Don Lucia. Do I understand?
I must refuse you. You see, I am another's.
Another's?
Well, I say, don't be downhearted. I'll tell you what I'll do if you like.
Yes, yes.
I will be a sister to you.
A sister? Only a sister?
Only a sister, nothing more.
And no words of mine can alter your decision?
I'm afraid not. You see, I'm in a more peculiar position than I can ever explain. I'm a woman with a history.
Then it is quite useless our prolonging this interview, and you will accept my apologies for ever having broached the subject?
Certainly, anytime you're passing.
Refused. What a relief. I'm sorry, though, for the boy's sake.
Well, here's a nice position.
You fool! What the deuce did you want to make a fool of my dad like that for?
I didn't make a fool of the fool, you fool. You hear what he called me?
Yes, a floweret.
Yes, by the wayside. It's a nice thing, isn't it?
Why didn't you cut him short and refuse him at once?
I couldn't refuse him until he proposed. No woman could. I shall find myself in the divorce court before I know where I am. Now look out, here's old Spettigue. I shall land him one. I know I shall. I'm off.
Ah, Mr. Chesney, have you seen... Ah!
What the deuce did he bolt like that for? Anyhow, they won't wreck my future happiness. I must find Kitty. Why couldn't Charley's aunt behave like a lady and show up as she had promised instead of giving us all this trouble? I hate the sight of her before I've even seen her.
First door on the left. Thank you very much. First door on the left, the man said Ella.
Ah, yes, here it is. Mr. John Chesney. Shall I knock?
Yes, do, my dear. Chesney, that name sounds familiar. Why couldn't my nephew remain in his rooms and not compel me to follow him about like this?
You telegraphed him to say you couldn't make it.
I know, my dear.
And then you changed your mind.
Yes, for about the first time in my life.
Why?
Oh, some vague desire to see him without his knowing. Knock again, dear.
The porter said it might all be in the garden. Oh, I could roam about these places all day. Isn't it beautiful?
Dream on, Ella. I shall wait until someone comes.
Oh, to live amongst these leafy shades, ancient spires and sculptured nooks. Oh, like silent music, a scholar's fairyland.
But for one poor sublunary being who's not quite as young as she used to be, a little fatiguing.
And how lovely it must be by moonlight, where the shadows have no sudden fears, her only folds in the mantle of sleep, and all is peace. Oh, and the silver bells chime to the sentinel angel of the night, and smile to heaven and whisper back, all's well, sweet bells, all's well.
You fanciful little woman. What put all this about angels and so forth in your head today?
Oh, I don't know.
I think I can trace all the slyways and shyways of thought that generally lead in one direction.
Oh no, it's also sweet here.
As it was there by moonlight on the bridge of a certain yacht. The brilliant rippling sea, the blue night, the brilliant stars. See how I remember your words. And a certain someone who said, as you listened to the chimes of the ship's bells, And you look like the angel of the watch. What a flattering tongue person, that someone. What was his name again?
I've told you so often.
Lord Fanctourt Babberley. But I don't want your mind fixed on these things, my dear. Oh, I almost forgot to tell you. I've invested your poor father's money for you. And thanks to his forethought for his little girl, he's rendered you independent for life. And what is worse, independent of me.
Independent?
But you won't be, Ella.
No.
For I've grown to love that little orphan I met in such grief in a faraway land so much that I'm not independent of her. So let's make a bargain, shall we? And put aside the evidence of my dependence and be my little girl and call me Auntie, will you?
Oh, yes, Auntie, yes.
How come your poor father had such a large sum of money put by him like that? I thought he lost it all.
Papa wanted at cards.
And cards when?
Oh, during his illness.
From whom?
From Lord Fanctourt Babberley.
Is Lord Babberley a gambler too?
No. No. But Auntie, if we ever meet, may I give it back?
I don't think he'd take it.
Well, why not?
I think he took too much trouble to lose it. But I don't want to speak for him. I don't want you ever to leave me. You've set my mind thinking now, my dear.
Have I? What's about?
Oh, a certain someone who...
Oh, do tell me.
It was before I went abroad to Brazil. I was very young and he was very shy. He managed to stammer out a compliment and a blush. And then he was ordered off by his regiment.
Without ever?
Without ever.
Oh, Auntie.
It was at a dance the evening before he went away.
Oh, and you've never loved anyone since.
I was a sentimental young lady in those days.
What was his name, Auntie?
Frank Chesney. How strange. I'm afraid we're intruding.
Not at all. The college grounds are open to everyone. I am, so to speak, at home here because these are my son's rooms.
Mr.
Chesney.
Pardon my asking, but you don't happen to be, or rather were, Lieutenant Frank Chesney?
I was.
And you don't remember me?
I acknowledge with regret that I have no recollection whatever.
It must be more than 20 years since.
20 years?
He doesn't remember me.
20 years is a long time, Auntie.
20 years? Where was the regiment then, I wonder?
Mrs. Beverley smiled. Everyone's card but my own. Then you've forgotten the day you first embarked for India?
No.
But you've forgotten the evening before?
No, not altogether.
Then?
Lucy. Good gracious. And to think that at that very dance. Ah, but you won't remember that, of course.
No?
No, because you never knew. But that night, by George, I nearly made you an avowal. Ah, and we've never met in all that time. Well, nearly over 20 years, we'll say, eh?
I'm afraid so.
I remember the dance perfectly. You were in white, tied up with blue.
Tied up with blue like a chocolate box.
You must see my son. He's a splendid fellow. These are his rooms. Or rather, he has lent them to a college friend, a young man named Wykeham,
Yes, Wykeham.
who is entertaining some ladies. 2 young ladies and his aunt,
His aunt?
a lady from Brazil.
From Brazil.
Yes, Donna Lucia Dalvadores. I must introduce you.
Auntie, what does he mean?
Just a minute, dear. Am I to understand you to say that Donna Lucia Dalvadores is here? Actually here?
In the garden. Or was 5 minutes ago. Do you know her?
I've heard of her. Do I stay and see this through or return to town?
May I trouble you?
Certainly.
Mrs. Beverley Smythe.
Auntie.
I'll go and find Donna Lucia and the boys. Perhaps you wouldn't mind coming into the garden with me to them.
It will be a pleasure. I'm quite curious to see them. And my niece, Miss Delahay.
How do you do?
And Colonel.
Sir Francis Chesney.
Come along, Ella.
Ah, Jack, my boy. If that had been Donna Lucia, things might have been very different.
What is his lordship up to with the old gent now? It looks as if they're having a game of some kind. I think it's very dangerous running about like that. I'm not sure I didn't catch sight of his lordship's trousers.
And now here we are at last. No one here and I can speak to you, Kitty. My dear Kitty.
Jack, look!
What are you doing, Brassett?
Laying the cloth for tea, sir.
Go away.
But you gave orders, sir.
Put it back for half an hour. Oh, quick, man, can't you see I'm engaged?
Really, sir? I congratulate you.
Busy, confound you. Get up and don't come back. And now, Kitty.
You said that before, Jack.
Now, don't interrupt me. I go straight at most things, and I'm not going to hesitate over this.
Is it that you attach so much importance to it, or that you don't care what you do?
It's both. Mixed. So, Kitty, my dear Kitty.
Yes, Jack?
Oh, Kitty, do be serious. In a few hours, you'll be hundreds of miles away, and it may be years before we meet again. Unless...
Unless what?
Will you be serious?
I can't help myself.
I've told you how my father intended me for Parliament and all that.
Yes?
Well, he tells me now that for the next few years I shall have to give up all that and earn my own living.
Well, that will do you no harm, Jack.
No? Oh, that's how I look at it. I've done well up here. I've worked hard and work tells wherever you are. So I intend to turn to you and come out all right, one way or another. I've broken the ice at last.
My dear fellow.
I hope they'll keep away.
Well, I'm sure I wish you every success.
Of course, in time. I'll be all right. But the question is, will you wait?
Wait? What for?
No, I beg your pardon. I didn't mean that.
Oh, you didn't mean it?
No. What I mean is that, before I say anything further, I should like you to understand what I've been telling you.
Oh, yes. What was that?
Well, to be practical and lay everything fairly before you, my position in life will be something in...
The city.
Thanks. My home...
Suburban.
Thanks, exactly. Transit.
Bus or rail.
My personal income...
Small.
My extra income...
Yes.
But under certain conditions, my fears will be nil and my hopes tremendous. Now you know all. That's how I stand.
Oh, that's how you stand.
Oh. Kitty. It's my duty to tell her all.
He's a dear fellow.
I'll kill anyone who comes now.
Well, I hope those happy conditions will be realized to your heart's content.
Oh, Kitty. They'll never be realized without you.
Without me.
Now you're vexed with me. You hate the city. You despise suburbs. You loathe buses.
How would you say that, Jack?
Kitty?
As if I hadn't the heart to do what thousands of better girls than I have done.
Kitty?
As if I couldn't guess all the happy fun that is to be got out of cooking and mending and ministering to the wants and happiness of the man who will work and strive for the woman he loves.
Kitty.
Try me, Jack. For I love you dearly.
You do, Kitty, you do?
As much as you love me, Jack.
Oh, Kitty.
My dear Kitty.
My dear Kitty. You're a brick. Oh, I've done it. I've done it. In spite of a lot of them.
Hey, Jack. What about my guardian, Mrs. Spettigue?
I'll see him at once.
No, that won't do.
Won't do?
No, I must have his consent in writing.
In writing? Why?
So that he can't retract. You don't know him as well as I do. But there's only one person who can get that written consent for us. So be a good boy and send her to me at once.
What? Amy?
No, Charley's aunt, Donna Lucia.
Donna Lucia? But Kitty...
No, don't ask questions. There's a good boy, but send her to me at once while I find Amy.
horrible. Oh, this can't go on. Where are we?
Jack, I've done it, Jack.
Done what?
I've let the cat out of the bag and told her everything.
You fool! What for? Told her what?
That I love her.
Oh, is that it?
Yes, but Jack, she's gone to go and find Donna Lucia to get her uncle's consent. We'll be in the dickens of a mess yet.
Well, keep cool, man, keep cool. We'll rise up to now. We'll rise up to now.
Lucy, give me your answer, do. I'm half crazy, all for the love of you. La, 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 la.
No. You'll drag us into an awful disgrace. And a damn good job, too. You don't know the things he keeps on saying to me.
He? Who?
Why, my mash. Old Spettigue.
Well, what does he say?
Yes, what does he say?
No, Charlie's too young.
Get out, man, that's nothing.
No, but it's very embarrassing. And look how well I get on with the girls.
Yes, confound you, too well.
Oh, do I?
I can live this lie no longer.
Now don't start that. Some lies have got to be lived.
What for?
Well, just say confessing them, you duffer.
I wish to goodness you'd bring us all to an end.
Well, me too. I want a drink.
Would it feel right if the donkey would only be reasonable and behave like a lady?
Yes, I know all that, but he can't. He doesn't know how.
As it is, the selfish idiot's ruining and spoiling everything.
I wish we'd asked Freddie Peel now.
At any rate, Freddie Peel would have stood by us like a man.
We were fools to have trusted him.
The selfish little beast.
And after all the misery that he's put us to.
I feel so infernally indignant. I could wring his head off.
Look at him now.
Mr. Chesney, have you seen Donna Lucia?
In the garden.
Steady on.
Now come get your man, you rascal! It's wrong with
Hey, you chaps! I've had enough. Let Charlie have a go.
Charlie, give me a hand here, will you? There we go. It's not easy to find the hole. Look out!
Behave yourself.
Oh, take your hands out of your pockets! Inhale your braces.
She's had too much mayonnaise.
Tell me about it. How are you doing there, Charlie?
Yo!
Do you want to get your hand in the sleeve? What Dickens is going on here?
You right back there, Jack?
Here we go. Oh, just when we want old Spettigue in his best humour, you go and wish everything with this fool of a game.
What fool of a game? I'm not going to marry old Spettigue. I can never be happy with a man like that.
You know, Babbs, if we were short of you, girl, we'd do anything for you.
Where's my antimacassar?
Oh, and here you are going after our girls. Confound you!
Oh. Charlie, am I right from behind?
Oh, look out! Kill the girls!
Alicia, we've been looking for you everywhere. Amy and I want so much to speak to you.
Oh, yes, we're in a difficulty.
A difficulty?
Yes, and we want you to be an angel. Now, Jack, to go away.
Yes, Charlie, go away.
Yes, go away. She wants me to be an angel.
Now, you know Amy's uncle, Mrs. Spettigue, is my guardian. And under my father's will gets nearly all my money if I marry without his consent.
And you know Jack and Kitty are in love with each other, but Jack's lost all his money or something.
For years and
Kitty
years.
wants you
Oh,
to...
wait a moment, Jenny dear.
Yes, wait a moment, David, dear. It's her turn now.
Now it's your turn.
Yes, now it's your turn.
Well, Charlie and Amy are in love with each other too, but you don't object, do you?
No, my dear.
You old dear, you dear thing!
Yes, Charlie, go away.
Yes, go away. We three girls want to be alone.
I'm saying this, I must do something.
Well, go and look after the tea. Oh, I must bring them all and stop us.
Now, you know where we left off, don't you?
Oh, yes, they're all in love and want to get married.
Oh, yes.
And we want Uncle's consent.
And yours, and we want you to be an angel and do it.
An angel and do it. Do what?
Why, get Mrs. Spettigue's consent.
For both of us.
For both of you.
Yes, first you see you will give your consent to Charlie and Amy, won't you?
Oh, yeah, yes, nothing could be nicer.
You are so kind, but I knew it from the first.
Well, do you want me to be one of your bridesmaids? No? Another time.
Well, now we want you to get his consent for us, but mine being a legal affair, you do understand, don't you?
Oh, your father's will, you mean?
Yes, his consent must be in writing.
In writing.
Yes, and you must get it.
Get it.
Yes, you must make him write a letter or something.
Oh, but my dear, I have no influence over you.
Oh, but you're so clever and so kind.
And so rich.
Oh, yes, and so rich. I remember I gave away half a crown only this morning.
Oh, John and Lucia, do say you will try.
We're going away.
Oh, my dears, don't leave me.
Yes, we're going to Scotland.
Oh, Scotland, I know where the whiskey comes from.
And you are our only hope.
Oh, John and Lucia, have you ever been in love?
Oh, yes, dozens of times. I mean, once in love, always in love, you know.
Well, then you know what it means to us, don't you?
Well, I should rather think I do.
Then you'll get his consent for us, won't you?
I'll do my best.
Oh, you can't say no now.
No, not now.
Then we'll go and find Mrs. Spettigue and send it to you at once.
Well, here's a nice position. Brassett, could you get me a brandy and soda, please? Oh no, watch out! There's old Spettigue coming.
Ah, Donna Lucia, there you are. I've been looking for you all the afternoon. I have so much to say to you.
Mr. Spettigue, Mrs. Spettigue, won't you introduce me to?
How annoying! Why couldn't she keep away? Certainly, Donna Lucia, Mrs. Buttercup Smith, Donna Lucia Dalvadores.
How do you do? I'm Charlie's aunt from Brazil. Or where the nuts come from.
What do you do? I've been most interested in meeting you.
Oh, really?
I knew your late husband.
Oh.
Intimately.
Oh.
Whatever's the matter, Babbs?
She knew my late husband. Intimately.
How are you getting along? Everything's going all right, isn't it?
No, she knew my late husband. Intimately.
Deuce! Oh, look out, Sam. Here's tea.
Well, what of it?
Oh, you must entertain. Donna Lucia, will you pour out tea?
Oh, certainly.
What a cruel interruption! We were getting on so nicely.
Do we all take tea?
Thank you.
You haven't been in England long, have you?
Change the subject.
Change the subject.
No. You take sugar and cream.
No, you don't.
Ask her if she takes sugar and cream.
Ask her if she takes sugar and cream.
I think I should like a little sugar and cream, Donna Lucia. My head! My head!
I beg your pardon.
opportunity to speak to her alone. I have it. I must invite them to dinner. After dinner, that's the time for my purpose. Pardon me, but I have a little proposition to make.
Yeah.
And I can't take no.
Mr. Spettigue's carriage.
Ah, capital, the very thing. Now I want you, all of you, to come and stay and dine at my house.
Oh, Uncle, how nice of you. That will be delightful.
Grand idea.
Thanks awfully, sir.
And you will ride with me in the carriage, Donna Lucia?
No, I can't. It's impossible.
I will take no denial. I want you, all of you, to come.
I have my niece with me, Miss Delahay.
Miss Delahay!
Ah, bring her, delighted.
Oh, no, I can't. My things. My things!
That voice! It is! Oh, it is!